1 week after the dinner, the academy felt like a different place. Students still stared, but now they stared for different reasons. The sight of a Thornax sitting with humans at meals was something no one had ever expected to see. It started small. Borak began appearing at the human dormitory around cooking time. He claimed he wanted to learn how to prepare food. Taiho welcomed him without question. The massive predator squeezed into the small kitchen, his claws surprisingly delicate as he learned to slice vegetables and tend to grilling meat. "You must watch the heat," Taiho explained. "Too hot and the outside burns before the inside cooks. Too cool and it takes forever. Cooking is about patience and attention." "Patience," Borak repeated. "This is a new concept for me. You are doing well. Here, taste this." Borak tried the meat he had prepared himself. His eyes lit up. "I made this." "You made this," Taiho confirmed, smiling. Skara found herself drawn to Jisoo. The quiet human had a gift for understanding emotions that confused a Thornax warrior. They would sit together in the library, Jisoo explaining human facial expressions and body language. "When humans smile with only their mouth, they might not mean it," Jisoo said. "But when the eyes crinkle too, the smile is real." "How do you know these things?" "Observation. Humans are social creatures. We need to understand each other to survive. So we learn to read tiny signs. A change in breathing. A shift in posture. The direction someone looks." Skara thought about this. "On my world, we read body language too, but only to judge if someone is a threat." "That is a start," Jisoo said. "But there is so much more to see when you are not just looking for danger." Vrek was the hardest to reach. He kept his distance, watching from afar. The dinner had shaken something loose inside him, and he was not sure how to handle it. His whole life had been built on fear and strength. The humans offered a different way. It terrified him more than any battle ever had. Yuna found him one evening on the observation deck, staring at the stars alone. "May I sit with you?" she asked. Vrek gestured vaguely. Yuna sat down, leaving respectful space between them. "You are struggling," she said. "It was not a question. My people have ruled through fear for generations," Vrek said. "It is all we know. You show us another way, but I do not know how to walk that path. I do not know if I can." "Change is hard," Yuna agreed. "Humans struggled with it too. We still struggle. Our history is full of violence and cruelty. We are not perfect. Then how did you become what you are now? One choice at a time. Every day, we choose whether to give in to fear or reach for something better. Sometimes we fail, but we keep trying." Vrek was silent for a long time. "On my world, I was considered the strongest of my generation. I could defeat any challenger. But strength without purpose is just violence. I am beginning to understand that. What purpose do you want?" "I do not know yet, but I would like to find out." The next few days brought an unexpected change. Vrek started sitting with the humans during classes. He did not say much, but he was present, learning, watching how they interacted with each other and with other species, studying their strange way of building connections. Then the crisis came. Ship arrived at the academy, carrying a delegation from the Korvax Empire. The Korvax were an aggressive species known for their conquests and their cruelty. They had set their sights on human territory. Earth and its colonies were rich in resources they wanted. The Korvax commander was named Threx. He was tall and covered in metallic scales. His eyes held no warmth. He came to the academy with a single purpose: to intimidate the human students into supporting his empire's claims on their home world. Threx found the humans in the common dining hall. He strode toward them, flanked by armed guards. "Humans," Threx announced loudly enough for everyone to hear. Your world belongs to the Korvax now. Your leaders will sign over your territories, or we will take them by force. You should prepare your people for submission." The dining hall went silent. Every student turned to watch. The humans sat at their table, looking up at the Korvax commander without fear. Before Yuna could respond, a shadow fell over Threx. He turned to find Vrex standing behind him. The Thornax was in full threat display. Spines raised, claws extended, yellow eyes burning with deadly intent. "You are speaking to our pack," Vrex said. His voice was a low growl. "Choose your next words carefully." Threx stepped back, his confidence shaken. The Thornax were known throughout the galaxy as the most dangerous predators in existence. No one wanted to fight them. "This does not concern you, Thornax," Threx said. "Everything that concerns them concerns me." Vrek moved to stand beside the human table. Skara and Borak appeared from different directions, taking positions around the humans. "These beings are under our protection. Any threat to them is a threat to us." Threx looked at the three Thornax, then at the calm humans, then back at the Thornax. The math was simple. Fighting the most feared species in the galaxy was not worth any territory. "This is not over," Threx warned, but his voice lacked conviction. "It is for today," Rek replied. "Leave now." The Korvax delegation retreated from the dining hall. The door closed behind them with a final sound. For a moment, the room was completely silent. Then Dongwu started laughing. "That was amazing. Did you see his face?" The tension broke. Other students began whispering in amazement. The Thornax, protectors of humans. No one could believe it. Later that evening, all 7 of them gathered in the human common room. The space had been repaired and expanded since the first dinner. There were comfortable seats for everyone now, human and Thornax alike. Taiho had prepared a feast. The table was covered with dishes from Earth and new creations he had developed with Borak's help. Everyone ate together, talking and laughing like old friends. "I never thought I would say this," Scar admitted, "but this is nice. Being with others, not fighting." "It is strange," Borak agreed. "Good strange." Vrek sat at the head of the table, watching his pack. Because that was what they were now. A pack. Not through fear or force, but through choice. Through kindness. "I have been thinking about something," Vrek said. The room quieted to listen. "When we first came here, we thought we were predators meeting prey. We thought you were weak because you were small and soft. We thought you would break easily." He paused, looking at each of the humans in turn. "We were wrong. You are predators too. Perhaps the most dangerous kind. You hunt with patience. You kill with endurance. You conquered your world, not through claws, but through connection. And instead of destroying us, you welcomed us, fed us, made us part of your pack." Yuna smiled. "That is the human way. We could be monsters. We have been monsters in our history. But we choose to be something else. We choose to be family makers." "Family," Vrek repeated the word like he was tasting it for the first time. "I like this concept." "To family, then," Dongwu raised his cup. "The kind you choose, not the kind you were born into." Everyone raised their cups. Human and Thornax together. To family. Outside the window, the stars continued their eternal journey. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers. Wars would be fought. Empires would rise and fall. But in this small room, on this small station, something new had been born. A pack forged not through fear, but through food and friendship. A bond that proved the most dangerous thing in the universe. Was not claws or weapons or strength, it was kindness. Offered freely to those who had never known it. And that was the most human thing of all. The Thornax sat in the human common room like coiled springs. Their muscles were tight. Their eyes moved constantly, scanning for threats. Every instinct told them this was a trap. Yet here they were, sitting on cushions while a human cooked meat in the next room. Vrek kept his claws visible. "Let us be clear, human. We came here to understand your game, not to be friends." Yuna nodded as if this was perfectly reasonable. "I understand. You do not need to be our friends tonight. Just eat with us. That is all we ask." "Why?" Skara demanded. "Why would prey want to eat with predators?" "Because we do not see ourselves as prey," Yuna said simply. "And we do not see you as predators. We see you as people. Intelligent beings with thoughts and feelings. People we have not met properly yet." Before Skara could respond, Taiho emerged from the kitchen. He carried a large platter of grilled meat. The smell was incredible. Rich and savory, with hints of garlic and sesame. Steam rose from the perfectly cooked cuts. "First course," Taiho announced. Bulgogi. Thin slices of meat marinated in sweet and savory sauce. "Please, try some." He set the platter on the low table. The Thornax stared at it. On their world, food was taken by force. Meals were fights won. No one had ever served them before. Borak moved first. He could not resist the smell any longer. His massive clawed hand reached out and grabbed a piece of meat. He put it in his mouth. His eyes went wide. "This is..." He struggled to find words. "This is very good." Taiho beamed. "Thank you. My family recipe. The secret is the pear juice in the marinade. It makes the meat tender." Skara took a piece next, more cautiously. She chewed slowly, her face showing surprise. "I have never tasted anything like this. On our world, we eat meat raw. Cooking seemed like a weakness." "Cooking was one of humanity's greatest discoveries," Taiho said. "It let us get more energy from food. It made us stronger, not weaker." Even Vrek eventually reached for a piece. He ate in silence, but his expression softened slightly. Dongwu sat down near Borak. "So, tell me about your home world. What is it like?" Borak looked uncomfortable with the question. No one ever asked Thornax about themselves. People only ran from them or fought them. "It is harsh," he said finally. "Hot, rocky, food is scarce. From birth, we fight for everything. If you do not take, you do not survive." "That sounds lonely," Jisu said quietly. Borak turned to her, surprised. "Lonely? Always fighting. Always competing. Never being able to trust anyone. That must be very lonely." The big Thornax was silent for a long moment. "We do not think of it that way. It is just how things are. On Earth, things were hard too," Yuna said. "We had predators larger than us. Weather that could kill. Diseases we could not understand. But we survived because we worked together. We formed groups, families, tribes. We protected each other." Vrek snorted. "Protection is for the weak. Is it?" Yuna asked. "Or is it the greatest strength? One human alone is vulnerable. But humans together built cities, created technology, crossed the stars. Not because we were the strongest, but because we were the most connected." Taiho brought out more food. Galbi this time, thick short ribs glazed with a sweet sauce. The Thornax ate eagerly now, their guard lowering with each bite. "I want to show you something," Yuna said. She pulled out a small projector and activated it. Images appeared in the air. Pictures of Earth animals. "These are creatures from our world," she explained. "This is a lion, an apex predator. These are wolves, pack hunters. This is a great white shark, perhaps the most feared predator in our oceans." The Thornax studied the images with interest. These creatures looked dangerous, worthy of respect. "And this," Yuna continued, "is a human. standing next to them. The next images showed humans working alongside these predators. A person touching a lion's mane. A researcher swimming near sharks. Wolf handlers with their packs. How is this possible? Skara asked. These creatures should kill them. Because humans learn to understand them, Una said. We studied them. We respected them. And slowly, over time, some of them came to trust us. The predators became our partners instead of our enemies. Rek was staring at the images. His mind was struggling with what he saw. You domesticated apex predators. Some of them, Taiho said. Dogs are descended from wolves. They became our companions thousands of years ago. Now they protect us, work with us, and sleep in our homes. Not because we forced them, but because we built trust. We even have a word for it, Dongwu added. Pack bonding. Humans bond with almost anything. Other humans, animals, even machines. We form connections. It is what we do. The meal continued. More food came out. Grilled vegetables, rice, and small dishes of various flavors. The Thornax tried everything. The atmosphere in the room slowly changed from tense to something else. Something none of them had names for. As the main course ended, Dongwu stood up and stretched. Okay, I need to do something. Rek, stand up. The Thornax leader looked at him with suspicion. Why? I want to arm wrestle you. Everyone stared at Dongwu. Even his human friends looked surprised. Arm wrestle? Rek repeated. I would destroy you. Probably, Dongwu agreed cheerfully. But let us see how long I can last. Come on. It will be fun. Rek stood slowly. He was not sure what game this was, but something about Dongwu's confidence irritated him. He wanted to prove a point. They faced each other across a cleared space. Dongwu set his elbow on a small table, hand raised. Rek did the same, his massive clawed hand dwarfing the humans. On 3, Taiho said. 1, 2, 3. Rek pushed. He expected instant victory. Instead, he felt resistance. Real resistance. The human's arm barely moved. Dongwu's face was red with effort. Veins stood out on his neck. But he held, for 10 seconds, 20, 30. The room was silent, except for the sounds of effort. Rek pushed harder. Dongwu pushed back. 40 seconds. Finally, Dongwu's arm went down. He gasped for breath, laughing. Okay. You win. Rek stared at his own arm, then at the human. You should not have lasted that long. You are small, soft. Humans have something called endurance, Una explained. Our ancestors hunted by following animals for hours, sometimes days, until they collapsed from exhaustion. We do not have the strongest muscles, but we have muscles that do not give up easily. We call it persistence hunting, Jisoo added. No other species on our planet could do it. We would walk after prey until it simply could not run anymore. Skara looked at the humans with new eyes. You hunted by refusing to stop? Yes, humans do not know when to quit. It is both our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. The evening grew late. The food was mostly gone. The Thornax remained, though none of them could explain why. The conversation flowed more easily now. Why did you really invite us? Rek asked finally. His voice was different now, quieter, less threatening. Una considered her answer carefully. Because everyone deserves a chance to be more than what others expect. You came here expecting us to be prey. We came expecting you to be predators. But maybe we can both be something different. Something better. We could be pack, Dongwu said. It is a human thing. Found family. People who are not related by blood, but who choose to protect each other anyway. Rek was quiet for a long time. Something was happening inside him that he did not understand. These small, soft creatures had shown him more genuine kindness in one evening than he had experienced in his entire life. "I do not know how to be anything other than what I am," he admitted. It was possibly the most honest thing he had ever said. "That is okay," Una said gently. "Neither did we once. But we learned. And we can learn together if you want." The night ended with no promises made. The Thornax returned to their dormitory in silence. But something had changed. A crack had formed in the wall they had built around themselves, and cracks, once started, have a way of spreading. The Thornax dormitory was silent after Una left. Rex stood at the door, staring at the empty corridor. His mind could not process what had just happened. An invitation to dinner. From Prey. What did she want? Skara asked, appearing behind him. Rex turned slowly. "She invited us to eat with them. Tomorrow night." Skara's eyes narrowed. A trap, obviously. But Borak, who had been listening from across the room, tilted his massive head. "What kind of trap?" "They have no weapons. No claws. They cannot poison us because our systems reject most alien substances. What could they possibly do?" "It is a psychological trap," Skara said. "They are trying to confuse us." "They are succeeding," Rex admitted. He sat down heavily, his claws scraping against the floor. "Nothing about these humans makes sense. They should be cowering. They should be begging for mercy. Instead, they invite us to dinner." The three Thornax sat in uncomfortable silence. On their home world, the rules were simple. The strong dominated the weak. Fear was the foundation of all relationships. Every species they had encountered understood this. Every species except humans. "We should go," Borak said finally. Both Rex and Skara turned to stare at him. Borak was the largest and strongest of their group, but he rarely spoke in meetings. "Explain," Rex demanded. Borak shifted his weight. "If we refuse, we look afraid. Like their strange behavior has frightened us. But if we go, we can learn what game they are playing. We can find their weakness." Skara nodded slowly. "There is logic in that. Every creature has a breaking point. Perhaps we have been approaching this wrong. Perhaps we need to get closer to understand how to destroy them." Rex considered this. The invitation felt like a challenge. Refusing it felt like defeat. Going felt like walking into the unknown. But the Thornax had never backed down from anything. "We will go," he decided. "But we will be ready for whatever trick they have planned." News of the dinner spread quickly through the academy. By midday, everyone knew. Students gathered in small groups, whispering in shocked voices. "The humans have lost their minds," a Moroccan student said. "Inviting the Thornax to dinner is like inviting death through your door." "Perhaps they hope to make peace," suggested a Valori. "Peace? With Thornax?" The Moroccan laughed bitterly. "There is no peace with predators. Only submission or destruction." Pello found Una in the xenobiology lab that afternoon. His blue skin was pale with worry. "Is it true?" he asked. "You invited the Thornax to your dormitory?" "Yes," Una said calmly, continuing her work. "Why would you do such a thing? They will hurt you. They might kill you." Una set down her tools and turned to face him. "Pello, do you know what humans did before we had technology? Before we built cities and ships? No, we hunted. We were predators, just like the Thornax. Our ancestors chased animals across vast plains until they collapsed from exhaustion. We worked together in groups, communicating with looks and sounds. We were not the biggest or the strongest, but we were patient and clever." Pello shook his head. "That cannot be true. You are so small. So gentle. Gentle now," Una agreed. "Because we choose to be. But the predator is still inside us. We just learned that there are better ways to live than through violence and fear. And you think you can teach the Thornax this? I think we can try. That is what humans do. We try. That evening, the humans gathered in their damaged common room to prepare. Taihao had received new cooking supplies from the Academy quartermaster. He was already planning the menu. We need meat, he said. Lots of meat. The Thornax are carnivores. I will make galbi, bulgogi, and some simple grilled cuts. Heavy on protein, rich flavors. Will they even like our food? Dongwu asked. Food is universal, Taihao replied. Every culture, every species gathers around meals. It is where bonds are formed, where trust is built. Jisoo was researching on her datapad. The Thornax have sensitive noses. They use smell to judge food quality and detect threats. We should avoid any strong cleaning chemicals. Keep everything natural. Good thinking, Yuna said. What about seating? Their bodies are different from ours, Jisoo continued. They cannot sit in normal chairs. We need floor seating with support for their backs and tails. Dongwu started moving the broken furniture aside. I will set up the space. We can use cushions and mats. Make it comfortable for everyone. They worked through the night. Yuna arranged soft lighting that would not irritate sensitive Thornax eyes. Taihao prepared marinades and sauces. Jisoo researched Thornax culture, looking for anything that might help them connect. Dongwu cleaned and decorated, making the space warm and welcoming as dawn approached. Taihao sat back and looked at his friends. Do you really think this will work? Yuna was quiet for a moment. When I was young, my grandmother told me a story. In ancient Korea, there was a general who captured an enemy commander. Everyone expected him to execute the prisoner. Instead, he invited him to dinner. They ate together, talked together, and by the end of the night, they were no longer enemies. What happened to them? They became allies. They fought together for the rest of their lives. Yuna smiled. That is the power of sharing a meal. It turns strangers into friends and enemies into family. The Thornax are not ancient Korean commanders, Dongwu pointed out. No, but they are intelligent beings who have never experienced kindness. They have only known fear and violence. Imagine living your whole life like that. Imagine never having anyone treat you as anything other than a monster. Jisoo looked thoughtful. You feel sorry for them. I feel sad for them, Yuna corrected. There is a difference. They have caused pain to many people. That is wrong. But they were also raised to believe that pain was the only way to live. Perhaps no one ever showed them another path. The day passed slowly. The humans attended their classes, ignoring the stares and whispers from other students. The Thornax were absent from public areas, preparing for the evening in their own way. As the sun set on the station's artificial sky, Taihao began cooking. The smells of grilling meat filled the human dormitory. Savory, rich, and warm. Jisoo helped him while Yuna and Dongwu made final adjustments to the room. At the appointed hour, heavy footsteps approached the human door, then stopped. There was a long pause. Yuna walked to the door and opened it. The three Thornax stood outside. They were in full intimidation posture, claws extended, spines raised. They looked ready for battle. Welcome, Yuna said simply. Please, come in. Rex studied her face for any sign of deception. He found none. Just a calm young woman inviting them into her home. This is strange, Rex said. Yes, Yuna agreed. Strange things can be good things. Please, sit. The food is almost ready. The Thornax entered the human space. They looked around at the soft lighting, the comfortable seating arranged for their bodies, the table set with care. It was nothing like what they expected. Scarra's nose twitched. That smell. Grilled meat, Taihao said, coming out of the kitchen. Prepared in the human way. I hope you will like it. Boruk's stomach growled. He tried to hide it, but the sound was loud in the quiet room. Dongwu grinned. Sounds like someone is hungry. Come on, big guy. Best seats are over here. They led the massive Thornax to a pile of cushions arranged just for him. Borak sat down carefully, his weight sinking into the soft material. It was surprisingly comfortable. The dinner was about to begin, and nothing would be the same after this night. The Thornax began their campaign 3 days after arriving at the academy. They started small. A shoulder bump in the corridor. A growl when humans passed by. Claws scraped against walls as a warning. These were old tactics, tested on a dozen conquered worlds. Fear was a weapon, and the Thornax knew how to use it. Vrek watched the humans carefully. He expected them to grow nervous. He expected whispered conversations and worried glances. He expected them to start avoiding certain corridors and eating at strange hours to escape notice. None of that happened. The humans continued their routines as if nothing had changed. They went to classes. They ate in the main dining hall. They walked through corridors without looking over their shoulders. It was maddening. They are either brave or stupid, Skara said one evening. I cannot tell which. It does not matter, Rek replied. We will increase the pressure. They will break. They all break eventually. The next morning, Borak waited outside the human dormitory. When Dongwu came out, the massive Thornax blocked his path. Borak towered over the human, his yellow eyes burning with threat. Going somewhere, little creature? Borak asked. Dongwu looked up at him. Way up. Borak was easily 3 times his size. Yes, actually. I have class in 10 minutes. Galactic history. Very interesting stuff. Did you know that the Moroccan Empire once covered 40 star systems? Borak blinked. This was not the response he expected. I could crush you with one hand. Probably, Dongwu agreed cheerfully. But then, you would miss out on some really good stories. Hey, have you ever heard of earth elephants? Massive creatures. Much bigger than you, actually. Very gentle, though. Want to walk with me? I can tell you about them. Dongwu simply walked around the confused Thornax and continued on his way, chatting about elephants as if Borak was an old friend. The massive predator stood there, unsure what had just happened. Skara tried a different approach with Jisoo. She found the quiet, human girl studying alone in the library. Moving silently, Skara approached from behind. She leaned down, her breath hot on the back of Jisoo's neck. You are alone, little human, Skara whispered. No friends to help you. No one to hear you scream. Jisoo turned around slowly. She looked at Skara's face, studying it carefully. Her eyes moved across the Thornax's features with strange intensity. Your left eye twitches when you are uncomfortable, Jisoo said quietly. Your shoulders are tense. You are not used to people not being afraid of you. It bothers you. Skara stepped back, surprised. What? Humans are very good at reading faces, Jisoo continued. It is how we survived. We had to understand each other without words. I can see that you are confused right now. Maybe a little frustrated. You expected me to cry or run. But I am just curious about you. Curious? Skara's voice was sharp. Yes. What is it like to be feared everywhere you go? Does it ever get lonely? Skara stared at the small human. No one had ever asked her that before. No one had ever looked at her like she was a person instead of a monster. She did not know how to respond. So she simply left, walking away quickly. Vrek himself decided to confront Yuna. He found her in the garden section of the academy, looking at the plants from different worlds. He approached loudly, making sure she could hear his heavy footsteps. Human, he growled. We need to talk. Yuna turned to face him. She showed no fear. Her expression was calm, almost peaceful. Hello, you are Vrek, yes? the leader of the Thornax students. You know who I am. Of course. I make it a point to know the people around me. It is important for understanding. Rex stepped closer, using his size to intimidate. Your kind does not understand. You are soft, weak. You have no natural weapons. On my world, creatures like you are food. On my world, Una replied calmly. We ate creatures much bigger and stronger than us. We hunted them across entire continents until they collapsed from exhaustion. We did not need claws. We had patience. And we had each other. Rek leaned down until his face was inches from hers. I could kill you right now. Yes, you could, Una agreed. But you will not. Why not? Because killing is easy. You have done it many times. There is no challenge in it for you anymore. What you really want is for me to be afraid. You want to see terror in my eyes. You want me to beg. She smiled gently. But I will not give you that. And that confuses you. Rex stood frozen. This tiny creature was looking at him like she understood him better than he understood himself. It was deeply unsettling. You will regret your boldness, he said finally. Perhaps you will come to understand that there are other ways to live besides fear and domination. I hope you will. The Thornax increased their efforts. They destroyed items in the human common room. They left claw marks on the human's door. They made threatening gestures during meals. They staged mock hunts in the corridors at night, howling and scratching at walls. Other students watched in horror. They expected the humans to crumble any day now. How could soft, small creatures withstand such terror? But the humans cleaned up the mess without complaint. They ignored the claw marks. They continued eating in the dining hall. When the Thornax howled at night, Taiho simply made warm drinks for everyone, and they sat together, talking quietly until the noise stopped. One evening, Taiho found his cooking supplies destroyed. His special pans were crushed. His ingredients were scattered. Skara stood nearby, watching for his reaction. Taiho looked at the mess for a long moment. Then he looked at Skara. That is too bad. I was going to make Korean barbecue tonight. Have you ever had it? The meat is grilled at the table. Very good. Skara tilted her head. I destroyed your things. You should be angry. I am a little sad about the pans. They were a gift from my mother. But anger does not fix things. He smiled. Tell you what, when I get new supplies, I will make extra. You should come try it. Why would I eat with prey? Because the food is delicious. And maybe because eating alone gets boring after a while. That night, the four humans met in what remained of their common room. The furniture was broken. The walls were scratched. But they sat together on the floor, sharing food that Taiho had made with borrowed supplies. This is not working, Dongwu said. For them, I mean. They keep trying to scare us, but nothing happens. They do not know what to do with us, Jisoo observed. Their whole system is based on fear. When fear does not work, they have nothing. Yuna nodded slowly. I have an idea. Something they will never expect. What is it? Taiho asked. We invite them to dinner. The others stared at her. Then Dongwu laughed. That is either brilliant or insane. Maybe both, Yuna said with a small smile. But it is the human way. We turn enemies into friends. We build pacts across species lines. We make family out of strangers. The next morning, Yuna walked alone to the Thornax dormitory. She stood outside their door and knocked politely. When Vrek answered, his eyes widened in surprise. What do you want, human? Yuna bowed her head slightly. I want to invite you and your pack to dinner. Tomorrow evening, at our place. Vrek stared at her. In his long life, no prey had ever invited him to eat with them. Is this some kind of trick? No trick. Just food and company. You can say no if you want, but I hope you will come." She turned and walked away, leaving the most feared predator in the galaxy standing speechless at his door. The shuttle landed at Galactic Unity Academy on a cold morning. Students from many worlds gathered near the landing zone to watch. Everyone wanted to see the new arrivals. The Thornax had finally come. Una stood near the back of the crowd with her friends. She was a human girl of 19 years, with calm eyes and a gentle face. Beside her stood Taiho, a tall young man who always had a friendly smile. Jizu, the youngest of their group at 18, stayed close to Una. She was shy and quiet, but she noticed things that others missed. Dongwu completed their small group. He was cheerful and loud, always ready to make friends with anyone. The shuttle doors opened with a hiss. Heavy footsteps shook the ground. The Thornax walked out into the light. They were massive. Each one stood over 8 feet tall. Their skin was dark gray and covered with thick armor plates. Sharp spines ran down their backs. Their hands ended in claws that looked like curved knives. Their eyes glowed yellow in the morning light. They moved like hunters, scanning the crowd for weakness. The students stepped back. Some ran. A Valori girl near Una made a small sound of fear. The Valori were gentle creatures with soft blue skin. They had never seen anything like the Thornax. The leader of the Thornax group stepped forward. His name was Vrek. He was the largest of his pack, with scars across his face that told stories of many battles. Behind him walked Skara, a female Thornax with cold, calculating eyes. She was smaller but looked just as deadly. The third was Borik, the biggest of them all. His muscles moved like cables under his armored skin. Vrek looked at the gathered students. His lips pulled back to show rows of sharp teeth. It was not a smile. It was a warning. "So these are our classmates," Vrek said. His voice was deep and rough. "Small, weak. This will be easy." The academy director, a tall being made of living crystal, stepped forward to greet them. "Welcome to Galactic Unity Academy. Here, all species learn together in peace." Vrek laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. Peace is for prey. The crowd began to break apart. Students hurried away, not wanting to be near the Thornax. But Una and her friends stayed where they were. They watched the Thornax with curious eyes. Skara noticed them. She tilted her head. "Look, Vrek, those small ones are not running." Vrek turned his yellow eyes toward the humans. He studied them for a moment. They had no claws, no armor, no fangs. Their skin looked soft and easy to tear. They were smaller than almost every other species at the academy. "Humans," Vrek said the word like it tasted bad. "I have heard of them. They come from a small planet at the edge of the galaxy. They are nothing. They look like easy targets," Skara said. Borruk grunted in agreement. "We should make an example of them. Show everyone here what happens when prey forgets its place." Vrek nodded slowly. "Yes, the humans will be first. Once we break them, the others will fall in line." The Thornax walked past the humans without another word. But Vrek made sure to pass close to Taiho, close enough that his claws brushed the human's arm. It was a promise of violence to come. Taiho did not flinch. He just smiled and gave a small wave. "See you around, neighbors." Vrek stopped. He turned back, confused. This was not how prey behaved. Prey ran, prey trembled, prey begged. This human just smiled. "Strange creatures," Vrek muttered, and continued walking. Later that day, Una and her friends sat in the human dormitory common room. It was a warm space filled with comfortable chairs and the smell of food. Taiho was cooking something in the small kitchen. He always cooked when he needed to think. "The other students are terrified," Jisoo said quietly. She had spent the afternoon watching and listening. American told me that the Thornax conquered 12 worlds before joining the Galactic Union. They rule through fear. They do look scary, Dongwu admitted. Did you see those claws? They could cut through metal. They want us to be scared, Yuna said. She was sitting by the window, looking out at the stars. That is how they control others. Through fear. Are you scared? Jisoo asked. Yuna thought about it. No, I am careful, but not scared. There's a difference. Taiho came out of the kitchen with a plate of food. My grandmother used to tell me stories about the tigers in Korea long ago. They were apex predators. Humans were small and soft, just like we are now. But the tigers are gone, and we are still here. What happened to the tigers? Dongwu asked. We happened to them, Taiho said simply. Humans do not look dangerous. But we survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and famines. We hunted mammoths with sharpened sticks. We are not as helpless as we appear. A knock came at their door. Yuna opened it to find a Valori student standing there. His name was Pello, and his blue skin had turned pale with worry. You need to leave, Pello said urgently. The Thornax have chosen you as their targets. They will make your lives terrible. They will hurt you. Please, transfer to another section of the academy. Hide. Do something. Yuna smiled gently at him. Thank you for warning us, Pello. That was very brave of you. You do not understand, Pello said. The Thornax have never been stopped. On every world, every station, they take what they want. They break anyone who stands against them. We understand, Yuna said. But running away is not something humans do well. We will be fine. Pello looked at her like she was crazy. You will not be fine. You will be destroyed. After Pello left, the four humans looked at each other. The room was quiet, except for the soft hum of the station systems. So, Dongwu said finally, we are being hunted by the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. What do we do? Yuna sat down and folded her hands in her lap. We do what humans have always done. We adapt, we watch, we learn, and we find a way. And if they attack us? Jisoo asked. Taiho grinned. Then we show them that humans wrote the book on being apex predators. We just do not look like it. Outside their window, the stars shone cold and distant. Somewhere in the academy, the Thornax were planning their campaign of terror. They thought they were hunting weak prey. They had no idea what they were truly dealing with.